Mr. Kincaid, you'll be loved for the rest of your days.
Before families watched reality TV together, millions tuned in each week to see the Partridges play pretend. Beneath the bubblegum hits and matching vests, the series hid secrets stranger than its storylines. Count down with us to see if any of these wild behind-the-scenes facts surprise even the most devoted fans. Number 1. Real family drama altered the script. Let's go back to 1970, when the Partridge Family brought a burst of rainbow-colored cheer to living rooms everywhere. From the outside, it looked like pure, carefree fun, songs, laughter, and that groovy bus crisscrossing America. But behind the scenes, life wasn't always in tune. Producers often found themselves rewriting entire episodes to keep up with real-world drama. David Cassidy, who played heartthrob Keith, faced relentless exhaustion, balancing the demands of filming with a rock star tour schedule and a skyrocketing fan base. Young Jeremy Gelbwaks, the first Chris Partridge, struggled off camera and left after season 1. His departure quietly explained away in the script. The Sunny United Front concealed late-night stress, fast rewrites, and a constant battle to hide the emotional costs of overnight fame. As you watch the family belt out "I Think I Love You" in 1970, you probably had no idea just how much heartache rippled beneath the harmony. The curtain never slipped, but real life constantly reshaped the Partridge Family's story, reminding us that even the happiest shows need a little rewinding to reveal the truth. Number 2. Fake fruit in the famous intro. A burst of Technicolor fruit in the opening credits made every home breakfast look humdrum next to the Partridge kitchen. But behind those inviting oranges and glossy apples was a secret as old as Hollywood. Nothing on that breakfast table was actually edible. The cereal in the bowls was meticulously arranged, hardened with glue to keep its perfect shape. The fruit? Painted plaster and rubber, never sweet, never bruised. Cast members like Shirley Jones and Danny Bonaduce recalled how eating was strictly off-limits, no matter how delicious the spread looked. Not a single spoonful got anywhere near their mouths during those now iconic morning shots, starting with the show's 1970 debut on ABC. Off-camera, their laughter hinted at the inside joke: TV magic versus real hunger. The illusion was seamless for millions of viewers who pictured the Partridges enjoying the dream breakfast. But it was all a bit of colorful trickery, just another absorbing detail in that world where everything, even the apples, were too good to be true. As the music faded, you could almost taste the promise, if only you didn't know the secret. Number 3. The short-lived animated spin-off. Bright colors, space cars, and robot dogs. Who could forget the time the Partridge Family left their groovy tour bus behind and rocketed to the future? In 1974, America tuned in to Partridge Family 2200 AD, an animated oddity that beamed Shirley and her musical brood into a Jetsons-style world. Yet only a couple of the original actors, like Danny Bonaduce and Suzanne Crough, reprised their roles. The rest of the cast, including David Cassidy and Shirley Jones, were replaced by voice actors, making this Saturday morning cartoon feel like a distant cousin to the beloved live-action show. Audiences never quite connected with the spaceman vibe or flying technology, and CBS quietly pulled the plug after just one season. Today, most folks have only fuzzy memories, maybe a cereal commercial tie-in or the echo of that futuristic theme song. That little experiment reminds us just how far networks would go to keep a hit alive, and how quickly a weird twist of fate can leave even the brightest pop acts lost in orbit. Next, we look at something else that changed the Partridge game forever. Number 4. Susan Day's crush on David Cassidy. Behind all that family harmony and chart-topping music, there was real teenage drama brewing on the Partridge Family set. Susan Day, who played the sensible, stylish Lori Partridge, nursed a secret crush on David Cassidy while cameras rolled. The crush lasted throughout the show's run from 1970 to 1974, adding an invisible spark to their on-screen chemistry. But decades later, Cassidy would reveal in his memoir that he never truly reciprocated those feelings, and the aftermath was more awkward than any sitcom twist. After the series wrapped, an attempted off-screen romance fizzled quickly, leaving a frost in their friendship. You'd never know it by watching Lori and Keith bicker and laugh. But it turns out adolescent heartstrings were tangled just out of sight. Every rehearsed line and musical number carried a hint of unspoken tension, making those family sing-alongs an even more unforgettable piece of television history. And as we move along, it's a reminder that the stories audiences imagine are often just the tip of the iceberg. Number 5. The songs were outsourced. Bright, catchy tunes echo in your memory, but the truth behind those records is stranger than fiction. The Partridge Family soared to fame on ABC in 1970, but only Shirley Jones and David Cassidy actually sang for the show and its hit albums. Every other voice you heard belonged not to Susan Day, Danny Bonaduce, or the kids on screen, but to a rotating crew of Los Angeles studio pros and backup vocalists. While I Think I Love You hit number 1 in 1970, it was sung by Cassidy alone, with no chorus from his on-screen siblings. Producers saw a golden ticket in the show's pop sound and kept the real kids' voices out, layering in professional harmonies for that shimmering, polished feel. Fans bought the albums and hung posters, caught by the illusion of a real family band. Yet behind the tambourines and bell-bottomed grooves, it was all expertly manufactured pop. The fantasy endures, even as we peer behind the curtain and wonder what else was polished for primetime dreams. Let's pause for a second. Did you ever imagine yourself as a member of a TV family band or collect their records? Tell us which show tune or fictional family made you reach for your hairbrush mic. Number 6. Their bus was actually a lemon. The sight of the Partridge Family's iconic bus barreling down the highway still brings a grin to anyone who tuned in between 1970 and 1974. But here's the surprising truth. The real-life multicolored bus was a non-stop headache behind the scenes. Underneath David Cassidy's charm and Shirley Jones's warmth, the cast faced constant breakdowns. The groovy Mondrian-style paint job might have dazzled outside, but the engine was pure trouble. When the cameras stopped rolling, roadies and actors often turned into mechanics or outright muscle, pushing the whopping vehicle off-set again and again. More scenes than you'd imagine started with the sound of a sputtering engine and ended with everyone hoping for just one successful take. Crew members admitted they spent more time coaxing the bus into position than actually shooting inside it. With each clunky start, the bus nearly stole the punchline, threatening to derail entire shoots. Every episode on ABC became a triumph not just of acting, but mechanical improvisation. Next time you watch those cheerful family sing-alongs, imagine the laughter and frustration echoing from beyond the camera. As we roll on, another surprising secret awaits. Number 7. David Cassidy was nearly left out. Imagine the alternate universe. Keith Partridge played by anyone but David Cassidy. Early on, executives were hesitant. David was Shirley Jones's real-life stepson, and producers worried that casting him might feel like a family handout. Back in 1970, the stakes were high. America was about to meet a squeaky-clean musical TV family, and the casting of its heartthrob mattered. Cassidy walked into his audition with a guitar and an attitude, belting out a song that left the room stunned. His voice and charisma didn't just land him the part, they shifted the show's creative focus. Scripts were rewritten to spotlight Keith. Once the first episodes aired on ABC, Cassidy became a sensation. Fan mail filled network mailrooms by the hundreds every week. Tiger Beat made him a near-permanent cover star. Without his breakout performance, the Partridge Family's sound and style might have faded from pop culture memory. Sometimes destiny finds its way, especially when the audition is unforgettable. The next story turns up another surprising Partridge twist. Number 8. Suzanne Crough wasn't a musician. On screen, Tracy Partridge was a tambourine prodigy, all sunny smiles and flawless rhythm behind the family's biggest hits. But behind that iconic prop, Suzanne Crough was just pretending. In truth, she had never played a note before stepping onto the set of The Partridge Family in 1970. Producers didn't mind a bit. What mattered most was her wholesome look and natural charm, not her musical chops. The music you remember, the crisp strums on I Think I Love You or the fizzy background beats, came from seasoned studio pros, not the kids in front of the cameras. Suzanne's part was pure performance, her tambourine entirely for show. The producer's gamble paid off. Fans loved Tracy's energy, blissfully unaware of the musical sleight of hand happening out of view. It's a reminder that a little television magic and a lot of personality could hit all the right nostalgic notes. Next, let's uncover another odd detail that made the Partridge Family so memorable. Number 9. Shirley Jones. Almost said no. Bright lights, big decision. Shirley Jones's path to the Partridge Family was anything but smooth. She had just won an Academy Award for Elmer Gantry in 1961 and was determined not to become the generic TV mom. With her movie star clout and Broadway pedigree, Jones was wary of shrinking herself into the shadow of Paisley living rooms and scripted laughs. Producers knew they needed her magic, so they made a rare offer. She could sing for real, not just lip sync. It worked. In 1970, Shirley said yes, transforming an ensemble sitcom into a cultural hit, with her voice leading each family sing-along. Fans never guessed how close they came to seeing someone else at the head of that Technicolor bus. Picture it for a second. The show without Jones's warmth or her sparkly counterpoint to David Cassidy's teen idol glare. Every time I Think I Love You played on Friday nights, it was her answer to Hollywood's call, a risk that paid off, and a harmony that almost never happened. The next story will show how the magic kept coming, even when odds stacked up. Number 10. The family home's double life. That white brick colonial you saw again and again as the Partridge bus pulled up after every musical misadventure. It wasn't just the Partridge family's house. This iconic TV home was actually a chameleon, playing double, even triple duty across 1970s television. The familiar exterior came from Columbia Ranch's storied backlot, where it served as Samantha's house in Bewitched and even appeared in I Dream of Jeannie. Set designers, with a few tweaks and camera angles, fooled the nation into believing each family had their own slice of suburban paradise. Little details shifted, a new porch swing, a different window box, but the bones of TV's most legendary house stayed the same. Generations of viewers tuning in to the Partridge Family on Friday nights from 1970 to 1974 never guessed they were watching television's greatest illusion. Suddenly, the next time you catch a rerun of Shirley, Keith, or Danny running up the front walk, you know, they're living in the house where magic is made on demand, the ultimate double life of TV suburbia. It's a facade that opens the door to so many more secrets behind your favorite shows.